Go. Now we're live. Craziness, I know. There we go. Now we got the chat column on. Got things seem to be working. That's what we want. Like I said, things are a little in disarray. And I'll lean down here again because the camera is much lower because the lathe is not assembled. Tables moved out of the way over here today. The overhead camera, I spun 180 degrees so that it could shoot down towards the lathe area down in here. And I will go back and forth if I need to adjust the overhead camera. But it is inverted because it's turned 180 degrees from the way it normally is to make work on the lathe look normal. All right. Let's see here. Let's pull up this controller too. And then we're going to start having fun. I'm excited to be putting this guy together. Like I said, you guys who know me, when I hum, I am having fun. Wasn't quite what I wanted it to do. I know you're not used to me being around on a Wednesday. I'm not used to being out here on a Wednesday. That's for sure. That's what we want. Control panel there. Video mixer. All right, good deal. And let's overlay number 6. And that should put that into an overlay. And as soon as I can get a monitor up on YouTube, I will know for sure that it's doing what I want it to. All I gotta do is find myself. I'm not used to trying to find myself in YouTube while I'm live. And when I click on the live, well, by golly, I don't seem to be showing up there. Because there should be a big old white box on here. Let's refresh that screen one time real quick. There we go. There it is. All right. So I wonder why I'm seeing you guys, Joe and Mike, are on YouTube, but you're not showing up in my column. And Frederick and Ear popped in. So Joe and Michael, I wasn't ignoring you. I just couldn't see you in the column. And let me get all this stuff cleared out of the way here. No, I don't want to learn more about that right now. Thank you. Let's see if I'm curious here. It's a Wednesday. I'm experimenting, having a little fun. I can't create a channel to join the chat. All right, I don't want to do that. All right, so that box is just going to be in my way. But you're not coming through on my other chat box, which is the one I really need to see. Which I don't understand. And it takes forever to turn it on and off. So YouTube is not connected to the chat column for whatever reason today. It always seems to be something. But I can see Facebook on the chat monitor. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna be on my knees most of the day anyway. I can see Facebook over here on the chat monitor, and I can see YouTube on the monitor in front of me. And Joe says all good on this end. So hey, like I said, it's a casual one. It's Wednesday. We're opening up a box and putting stuff together. If the overlay gets in the way, I can turn it off. I'm making it up as I go, right? We're putting a lathe together. We're opening a box. So, that being said, let's open the box. Because like I said, I honestly have not opened this yet. At least it wasn't too hard to get the lid off. And I think we'll just set some of this stuff outside. It's going to be one of those days where we're just going to kind of come and go as we need, get things out of the way that we don't need. I have a new device that I want to try out, which is back here behind me. I'm actually sitting on it right now. It's a table lift, if you will, a table cart or a lift cart. My plan is to kind of use that to do the heavy lifting here today. All right, so down in here, well, that side camera that isn't too bad. And if I turn on the overhead, which is, all the numbers are changed around these days on my system. So there's the overhead, which isn't too bad, although it is, like I said, inverted. Jeff Peters, Christmas came early. Yeah, I wish it was Christmas. Christmas hasn't come yet. All right, so what do we got here? We got legs. We got a bar and a bracket there that hangs above everything. Our lathe is down inside there. That overhead is going to end up with my head in the way of everything. So I think what we're going to do is stay on for the front for the main program with an overlay. Come on, change on YouTube. I think we'll kind of stay there. And maybe even let's experiment here. Let's go with the side view might be the best thing, which will keep things kind of accurate. Let's make that, and we're going to overlay, let's say 4. There we go. How about that? So there's a little bit of front and a lot of over to the right-hand side. I think that works pretty well. All right, I do have a toolbox in here, completely disorganized, but it does have some tools in it. Let's see here. If I was to be, like all super organized, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. If you know what I mean. And let's see, it's probably 13 or ½ inch. I know, use a crescent wrench. I hope you guys are doing well out there today. There we go. And if you're probably looking at the back of my head, well, maybe you're not seeing the back of my head. I got to watch out for these nails. So, tip number 1, watch out for the nails sticking out of the box. And the cameras are on autofocus, so they should keep up with things all right. It was kind of funny once I got this in here. I was going to do this yesterday, or I had hoped to do this yesterday. And by the time I wrestled everything around, says he's kind of here. Well, Rich, I'm kind of here. And that's about as good as I can get, is being kind of here. By the time I got all the old lathe out and things wrestled around, it was 3:30 in the afternoon, and I didn't really feel like starting this project that late in the day. And I had other things that I did have to do as well. So I just decided to wait till today. And we're going to get this bar out of here first. Since Rich from NOVA is kind of here, he's monitoring. He'll go, Bradley, you're doing it wrong. I asked him for any tips last night. He told me it was real easy. Just go for it. So here I am going for it. I am quite excited. I will have this thing. We'll be on it tomorrow. I think I've got some big chunks of wood outside. Maybe a little bit split, one thing another. But what else you can do with a nice new big lathe but jump on some big work first thing? And I was thinking about how do I describe it, the big blocks I've got outside. And I said, I think I'll describe them as distressed. Might be a good description for them. Meaning they've got cracks in them, if you know what I mean. All right. So there's the big crossbar. And we're just going to set that over here for the time being, out of the way. And this is a solo activity. So I do have to be careful with the heavy weight and things like that. And Rich, on the phone, I'll pay attention and answer questions in a minute. No worries, Rich. You're at work. You do what you got to do. Michael, he'll pop in later and tell me after the fact what I did wrong. Yeah, that sounds about right. But I'm okay with that. So the front camera, which I've got pointed down right now, this room is only so big, and I can't get any further away from it than I am right now. Hey, at least look at it this way. I could be happy at 62. When I lean over and you see the top of my head, there's no bald spot, right? Still got hair up there. Box of parts here. Northside Custom Craft says he put his together last night. It's awesome. Cool beans. I hope you had a little more room to work in than I've got here. But I will make it work. Holy cow, look at these legs. Or these feet. Now, as they say here in South, them some feet right there. That's cool. The box of goodies is always fun. Obviously, there's the feet. Serious set of feet. Alignment tool. Big old bag of bolts and a wrench. Allen wrench there. Just getting all the goodies out of the box. Knockout bar. Don't think we need that quite yet. Handle. Faceplate, another one for tomorrow. Hey, instructions. The owner's manual. USB cord. It must be a computer. Set that box off to the side. Open up our directions. I did get NOVA Sales to send me a PDF of the manual just a little while ago, about an hour ago or so. And that will be on the website, on Spiracraft, on the lathe. I'll get that up to where you can download the manual if you're interested in taking a look at how this guy works and seeing the manual in a PDF fashion. I will make it available. All the good stuff appears to be in here. Removal of the hand wheel. All right, we'll keep that over there. Here's a USB cord, probably for firmware updates. More styrofoam. Leg is bolted to the crate. So I'm going to walk in front of a front camera here. It's got a big screw in it, big Phillips screw. Let's see if I can find this Phillips screwdriver that I'm looking for. I do have a big one. Might be over here in this other toolbox. As I was saying to Bridget just the other night, I've got stuff in 5 buildings. It's kind of hard to keep up with everything sometimes. You guys are talking about Canadian deliveries. All attention to the stream. I'm not sure Rich, I'm not sure I want all your attention. Canada deliveries fairly limited. US at this time, 27 now, 27 more in January, February. Yep, and Spiracraft had 2 on the first load, and one of them's here, one of them is with a customer who is very happy already. And we have 2 more available in that next shipment of 27. So these guys are fairly limited. Actually, they're very limited to be able to get a hold of. I don't have a Phillips driver big enough in my screw gun for these big Phillips on the end here. So we're doing it old school. And my plan now, whether it'll work out properly or not, basically is to kind of break the box down around this. And I have this lift table I was talking about. And with the lift table, my plan is to lift the bed, and it looks like the headstock's already on it. Get that, slide that, tilt it up onto the lift table, lift it up in the air and slide the legs up underneath it. So I don't really ever have to lift it or tilt it. No theoretical heavy lifting on my part, other than tilting the bed and the headstock up onto the lift table. That's the theory. It's a shame. I went to get the lift table the other day, and they were out of the 500-pound lift version, so I had to get the 1,000-pound, which actually was in a beat-up box and ended up costing less than the 500-pound version. And we know where I got it. If you guys know your favorite store. Favorite store for things that don't have moving parts. So that is quite the massive leg. And I will turn this into side camera as much as I can, that you won't be able to see it in the front camera. Cast iron. Real nice legs. And we'll find out if there's a left and right. I don't know if there is. We're going to put one over here on this end of things. I hate when I get deals because of damaged box. Yeah. I'll take them all day long. I don't know about you guys. Pardon my back. Oh, there was a tray in there. And I'll just slide over here out of camera with this. Good deal. Everything about this feels heavy duty. Heavy duty. And that's what we want in a lathe. Because I don't know about you guys, but I tend to abuse my lathe fairly well. And I'm being polite to myself. I beat on them pretty hard. Looks a lot like the Galaxy leg. Never had a Galaxy in here, so I'm not sure. Rich can tell you for sure if it does or not. All right, so let's take our mallet and gently disassemble this box a little more. I did bring in a rubber mallet to keep the noise at a minimum. I guess I need to take that strap off of there. Binding strap. So if my building was bigger, or if I had put this against the back wall, I'd be able to have a longer camera shot from the front. But what are you going to do, right? You only got so much space sometimes. Yeah, we'll just disassemble around it. Again, watch out for the nails. Hey, and I put that leg right in front of the door. We'll just put that right there. Pretty close to the Galaxy, Rich says. Pardon the back again. It was quite the trick trying to get this crate off of the pallet jack and onto a set of dollies to get it through the studio door yesterday. That was one of the things that took me a while, because the pallet jack won't fit through the door. The lift cart, which you can now see back here, won't roll end to end. Mary Alice says, save the plywood. Absolutely. That's genuine imported plywood, Mary Alice. And by the way, I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Thanks for dropping in as I just kind of have fun today putting this guy together. I love doing that, just throwing the wrapping stuff away, you know. All right, and now the main bed is bolted to the last bottom piece of plywood with a different size bolt. Okay. Rich, how much does the headstock weigh? Just out of curiosity. And I'm going to go look for another wrench to unbolt this. Let's see here. It looked like they were actually 13 like before, but I don't know where I laid that 13. Let's see here. There it is. It's hiding under the massive feet. Rich, all right, so about 80 to 100 pounds. Complete unit, yeah, complete unit is 496, I think it said. Something like that. I assume those bolts are what's holding that in place somehow. And if my plan works like I want it to, I'll literally slide this guy right onto that cart. And I have to give credit where credit is due. Don Rollins over at Spiracraft told me that I needed, because he knows I do everything alone over here, because as I said to Rich last night, I don't have any help in this one-horse town. Hello, Mark is over there. Thanks for joining in, Mark. I don't have anybody around here in town to come by and give me a hand on stuff. So I've just kind of gotten used to doing it by myself. Now it's funny, I'm wearing a sweatshirt because it's actually cold outside. And I had the heat on in here, but now I'm getting warm. I think I may turn on the air. I don't think you guys will mind if I turn on the AC. It's the time of year in Georgia where you run the heat and the air every day. Heat in the morning, AC in the afternoons. All right, let's see what we got here. Yep. We'll lighten the load some on this. Oh, you got the stops on there. All right. Take the stops off to get the headstock and the banjo off. I don't believe this little part will ever go back on here again. I know it won't. We don't need that. We'll put this way over here out of the way. Same thing with the banjo. Nice solid looking banjo. Put that over there out of the way. Those bolts go under and then also screw into the holes where the legs mount. Okay. Keep that in mind. All right, let's see if my plan will start to do what I want it to. Because once I have it on the bed on here, on my platform, which is all the way down, then there's very little heavy lifting left for me to have to do. Okay. Again, not a lot of room in this room. Move a little stuff around here. The film studio is 16 by 12 and I use every foot of it. Every single foot of it. Let's see if we slide that to the middle. Step over. Boom. So that's probably the heaviest lifting I will have to do. I centered the headstock in the bed. Got it onto my jack here. Lift truck, if you will. The rubber mat's moving around. But now I am free and clear to roll it around, lift it up, and then notice I put the weight in the middle. And let's hope it goes high enough. It should. If not, we'll have to work a board under it to get to the height of the legs. Do I know exactly how high it lifts? No, but I think it's 37, so we will find out. DVR intelligent drive. So now we can just move that forward, getting myself a little room to work because I've got a rubber mat back here. And we take the pump and we pump her up. See all that heavy lifting I have to do? Just 1 foot. All right. We're going to come over here and look at our supply of things. I know that I need to put the feet on. And I think I'll put the feet on after the fact. Yeah, Mary Alice, the table is sweet. They come from, of course, good old Harbor Freight. This is the 1,000-pound, which is normally $369, and the 500-pound is like $269, something like that. I would say just from saving my poor back right there, worth every penny. And for moving it around, for moving lathes around your shops, it's a great idea. It just won't go linearly because it won't fit up underneath the lathe, but it'll go front to back. And most of the time, unless you're trying to go through a walk door, it's perfect. It'll go right through there. So I'm going to say, and Rich, so you tell me these brackets want to stay on here? Is that correct? That I want to keep these brackets in place? These little metal guys, or should I take them out? It looks like the screws are going into the holes for the legs. Yeah, remove the brackets. That makes sense. Do. Easy enough to do. I've got a lift table like this for snowmobiles and ATVs. That's how I used to get my snowmobiles when I lived in Colorado up to work on them. But this is the first one in this format. And also I saw them in use at the Mid-Atlantic Wood Turning Symposium. The guys who set up the symposium, when they were moving lathes around and in and out of the symposium, they had a couple of these. I think I'm going to have to go come out of this sweatshirt and put my jacket back on, because this is just too doggone hot. So if you will pardon me for a moment, I'm going to come over here and get out of this sweatshirt. I'm going to move this other leg so I can get some stuff outside. Too much stuff in the studio. Let's clean house a little bit. Get these plywood boards with all the nails in them outside. Out of the way where nobody, meaning me, gets skewered. I do like the fact that I didn't have to take the headstock off to put this together. Sometimes that can be the hardest thing, especially by yourself, is getting the headstock back on from a dead lift down on the floor. If you've ever done it, you know what I'm talking about. There, a little more room to work in here. Going to come out of some of this clothing real quick. So I tried, while I'm changing here, getting out of this, I tried another thing today, recording wise, for future projects. vMix, which is what we use, and many do for their live streams, allows you to record the stream itself, but it also allows you to record all the cameras simultaneously and independently, not just whatever you're streaming, but you can record. In this case, I've got 3 NDI cameras running, and you can record 3 cameras independently of the program that you're putting out, provided you have enough processor power. And I haven't tried it other than just before we went live, and that's why I was a few minutes late getting going. I tried it just to see if it would work on this laptop, and it tilted. And there are plans for a bigger, better, stronger machine, have been for a long time, but like you couldn't get graphics cards and capture cards because you couldn't get chips. Rich knows that story all too well. And so there's a new streaming computer in the future here for Spiracraft, and I'm much cooler now. All right, so let's see if this is gonna. Oh yeah. So we just slide that into the general position. They appear to be the same, no left, no right, nothing like that. So that crossbar I will have to put in after the fact. I don't foresee that being a problem. We'll find out. So that's wonderful, having the lathe, the lathe, sitting up here on the lift, the legs right underneath. And look, I got a work surface right here for all my bolts, nuts, washers, bolts. There's an Allen wrench, another Allen wrench. So a portable lift and work table I never thought I'd say, you know, wonderful things about good old Harbor Freight. But especially with the scratch and dent box price, it was a really good deal. All right. I'm assuming there should be 8 big bolts. And if I put you in the overhead, what would you see? Not much. 8 big bolts. Get all our hardware sorted out here. Kind of organized up. Crossbar goes in last anyway. Okay, cool beans. Nothing like having customer service in your live stream while you put your lathe together. Now that's what I call service. And I thought me answering questions and messaging and texting at 10 and 11 o'clock at night with customers was customer service. But showing up personal like in your shop or studio to help put things together, no, that's customer service right there. I need a little sip of water. Soda in this case. And I need to step in here real quick. Get a paper towel. So I will double check here real quick with the directions. I could ask Rich, but I'll do like I'm supposed to. And take a quick look here for assembling the legs. Read the directions, they said. Read the directions, right? Flat spring washer, flat washer. That's going that way. And same thing for the legs. Indeed, great directions in the book. Really well laid out right there. Shows everything nice and clear. Even a guy who doesn't read directions much like me can follow that action. So I'm just going to go ahead and oop, wrong ones. Set these up right off the bat. Yep, Rich, we're getting the washers, spring washers, and then the flat washers on the leg bolts. I'm doing them up, all of them ahead of time for each side. What I like about this is that it doesn't appear there's extra parts. Don't get me wrong, I love the Colt lathe. I've been running for years, but it came with a whole bunch of extra nuts and bolts and washers and everything else, and you were convinced that you had left something out. You had left something off. You had done something that you were supposed to do, which wasn't the case. Okay. So if as long as these reach, and I can adjust the table obviously as needed. So Rich, you didn't tell me that the big ones go over there. Those are for the bar. The smaller ones are for the legs. Okay, well that's cool. So those others are already ready. I just made an assumption. You know how that goes. We won't finish that sentence. This is different for me. I'm always the one doing the assembly. Well, good, Michael. You sit back and relax, and you can watch me assemble and look for pieces and parts. But like I said, everything seems to be the appropriate amount, so you don't feel like you've forgotten something. Rich, those bolts for the crossbar, they are substantial. That's what I say. That's why I thought they were for the leg or legs. All right. So that just reaches. You always want to, if you can, put things together just loosely. And then come back. Michael, did you put all the machines together at the store that you're semi-retired from? I'm assuming the answer is yes. So I'll get all 8 bolts just started sufficiently, and just securely and sufficiently that they're in. Then I'll ease down, and it looks like I'm going to need to drop it down just a fuzz because the other end is obviously a little bit higher, and I know they won't reach that far. So I'm going to just ease this guy down. It's got a nice control to it. Again, I'm not selling Harbor Freight here today, but it lets that come down nice and easy. Yeah, Michael, you were the assembly man. Well, now here's a question for you, Mike, since I'm just doing monotonous nuts and bolts here. Would you rather assemble or customer relations? I'll put it that way. Got to come down a little bit more. My floor, imagine that, is not completely level in this place. I may need to get a light so I can see where that hole is, because I've got it close, so close I can't quite see in there, so I'm going to get a light so I can see that hole so that I don't have to fish forever. Anymore, everything means I'm going to go get my phone, right? All right, there we go. This building has been moved. Once I built it up in North Georgia, completely disassembled it, and then put it back together here. So it's been around. I'm going to go back up just a fuzz here, so that maybe I can see a little bit better. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Good thing for the table, eh? All right. 2 bolts in. It's kind of funny, like I say, with all the stuff I have in here, there's literally just enough room to walk around the lathe with the work table that's normally in front of the lathe off to one side, toolbox off to the other side. All right. That gets them started. Take our Allen wrench, run them up. Just snug. I know this may not be the most exciting thing in the world to watch, but hey, it's kind of cool. If it was yours, it'd be really cool. And like I say, Spiracraft does have wrench drop. 2 of these, 2 more on the way, be here in February. So if you see this and you go, hey, I need one of those, you can order them on the website, get in line. We have 2 more ready to go out when they come in off the boat. I mean, literally, there's about a foot, I don't know if you can see, between myself and the cabinet over here. And then maybe 2 feet between the work table, or the tool chest, and the lathe on the other side. There's a lot of stuff in this little building. Now, Rich, I assume that it's safe to say that you want to just get everything on these legs just close to snug, so that we have a little leeway to put in our bar, so that we have just a little bit of wiggle room on our bar. Yep, I see your note there. Oh, that one fell out over there. Guess it wasn't in as far as I thought. We'll take care of that. There we go. All right. And I'm going to get a little closer on these over here, and then we will let the cart down. Michael, no, I didn't install the legs. I'm going to lift it up before I put the bar in and put the legs on, and put the feet on. The reason I didn't put the feet on, Michael, my theory was that it might be because it wasn't bolted to the bedways, that it might be inclined to kind of fall over. The legs might fall over, whereas they have a big flat base on them right now. So that's the next thing I'm going to do, is jack this guy back up. And if I don't have enough room, then I can put a block. We'll see where we go on height. And that's what answers my question. Okay, so I'm gonna let this down, and I'm gonna let my table down and put a block under this. 2 blocks actually. Straighten up my mat. And that will give me more lift. That's the cool thing about this table. That should give me enough. I saved the skid feet from the pallet just for something like this, which gives me 4 more inches of lift, which hopefully will be enough for my theory to put the feet on. You mean like that, Michael? That was my plan. Those feet are huge. That's fantastic. That's the best set of feet that at least I've seen. And I'm going to stick one on here before I look at the instructions and make sure that what it wants is 1 nut above and 1 nut below. See if there's any washers go with that. I don't see anything of that size, but let's take a look here. A nut above and a nut below. No washers. Okay. I might be able to, even at 500 pounds, be able to slide this guy around on these urethane feet. That's kind of cool. When I used to do the woodworking shows, every single haul was different. And, and at first, I had the feet on the lathe, and I would try and adjust the feet, and then over the years I figured out to put the lathe on a pallet and just let it fly, not worry about it. I think I would buy some of these feet and drill out some of my other lathes just to have the feet. just like that. So yeah, Michael, I think I'll use some blocks there to lift that up. Give me that extra height that I need. Now, of course, this cart is in my way, but I'm going to keep it handy for the parts. Slide it over there. All right, big old bar. Yeah. So the bar has a tap hole in it. I think you're supposed to put sand in there. Watch this, guys. I'm going to look at the directions again. Yep, and it's got holes for the tray. So that's cool. And that's where you put quartz sand. Down in the hole, you put quartz sand. No other sand, just quartz. Okay. So theoretically, this could be where I get in trouble if it doesn't clear. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's kind of what I was afraid of. So there is adjustment there. So I will have to lift it up, slide the legs as far out as possible, since I didn't assemble it in the other fashion. So my hand cart's not done yet. Best laid plans. We're going to slide these legs all the way back out and see if that's going to be enough. Because I don't have enough clearance for the bar to pop in there. Hopefully I didn't totally mess up and have to take the legs off and get the bar in place. Rich told me that it would fit. He did. I heard him say it. All right, so that leg's all the way out. So you did it this way, Rich? And it will fit when I slide this leg out? No, I'll have to take the table down, but the bolts won't be out. All right, so legs are all the way out now. Now Michael had a good idea about using the table to hold the bar, assuming that I get it in past the webs here. Rich, you lie. I am a ½ inch shy of making it in there. I am a ½ inch shy. %, put my crossbar on last. Oh, I believe you. I believe you. Wonder if I have to skew the legs out just a bit. Might have to wiggle them out just a little bit. That might be what I have to do. That could be all it takes. Boy, that is so close. So close, but not quite there. All right, what else am I going to try here? I had to tilt it. Yeah, I got her tilted. Tilted and crookeded. One end high, one end low. And I'm about a ½ a plate from clearing. There we go. Almost in. I'm going to tilt these legs a little bit more. That side is definitely slid all the way out. That side is too. Let's see if a little rubber persuasion I mean, it's ever so close. But not quite. Not quite. Well, let me lift it up without the bar in there once more. No, serious. Yeah. We will try and wiggle them out a little further. Boy, it sure is a good thing we have the hand cart, the lift cart. You're buying next time I see you, Rich. Too bad I can't swing it in the air on the cart and get the bar in. You know what I mean? I wonder, let's try something here. We're going to take out 2 of the bolts on each end. Which will allow our legs to tilt. And I'm just doing it on one leg. That should be enough. Yeah, so Michael, what I did is I took 2 bolts out on one end. So that I could move it. Like that. And then all the fighting is over. Dig? Yay! That's why I like doing these live like this, because somebody else might run into the very same little snag. And like, what do I do? Well, so all I did is I took out 2 inside bolts, which allowed the leg to kick out. And it popped right in. So now we're all good. So we're good. We're good. And again, I'm just getting these in where they don't fall out. And then we'll bolt our crossbar in. You just have to outthink a bolt, I guess, right? There we go. Lorianne, will I be traveling with this one? No, this is the studio lathe. I got this specifically for in here. This one is not going on the road. It's going to stay right here. Good to see you, by the way, Lorianne. Didn't know you were in here. Haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're doing well. And I won't be abusing, famous last words, this lathe either. There's the other lathe that will go over to the workshop where the things get nasty and dirty on the Colt. How long is the bed? You would ask. I don't know off the top of my head, but I have a handy dandy tape measure here, which tells me it is 47 inches long. Probably about 48 and a half with the legs sticking out. But the bed itself is 47, which would be a good road machine to go on a 4-foot pallet. Back to your spindle work. Now you know better than that, Lorianne. My 1642 in the other building is for spindle work. I had somebody pick up a bowl coring system yesterday for a Jet 1640. I hadn't heard of a 40. I only was aware of the 42. And a good thing I checked and did some research, because the banjo is a little bit different on a 1640. And Rich, if you're in here, I'm going to say I'm super happy this thing is not completely layered, slathered in carboline or whatever you want to call that wonderful grease. All right. So Michael, if you have to assemble these for a living, make sure you get yourself a big driver for your screw gun to run all these in on those days that you're doing back room work. And so Rich, if you're still floating around, you'll note what I was talking about in the message this morning. This area, if you can see my hand, this area of the lathe will be covered by the work table. So I'm looking for badging, trying not to get that nice white thing all dirty, badging to put up here. Been doing that for a long time, LOL. Rich, I'll find a way. I'll get Nebula printed up somehow and put it right there on that headstock. If you guys can't, if you don't have one, not that you can't, but if you don't, I've got a source. And I'll put NOVA Nebula right on that headstock facing the front camera there. Michael, I don't put a lathe together but every 5 or 6 years maybe. It's probably been that long since I put the Colt together. Maybe longer. I know I've had that Colt for quite a while. And I sold a 1624 recently And I had it out of the box, and I started to put it together, and then I decided, well, I'll just see if I can't sell it out of the box and disassembled for easier loading in somebody's truck. And sure enough, it worked out. I'm glad I turned the AC on. It turned off the heat. So this is a whale of a crossbar. Going to be all kinds of sturdy application that it adds to this guy. Takes a little while when you don't have Mike McEwen's ratchet wrench with a driver on it in here. I used to turn a wrench for a living, but I was 22, 23, and younger. Been a long time since I've done that. Take the plate off the bed and double stick it to the headstock. I think, unfortunately, Mike, the plate is longer than the headstock. I'm looking at it here, and without measuring it, I'm pretty sure it's longer. But I could get another one from Rich and cut it down. Or I can just get a low-tack transfer made. There we go. Same thing, I'll put something on the tailstock when I get to that point, since it moves in and out. All right, so over here to the other side. Yes, I think I've got some big 18-inch bowl blanks outside. I think they're poplar. And I think I'm gonna mount one of those up tomorrow for Spiracraft Live. They do have some checks in them on the outside, but that's what we call distressed, which would be good for adding some Chromacraft gel resin. I'll always find a way to use products. And we might, I don't know if we'll core the middle out of them or what. I'll have to take a look at them to see just how rough they are. Because it's either that or I got to throw them away. Let's see. Brian just got a new dust vac for Christmas because his Delta motor gave out. I'll get him a new lathe eventually when his hand-me-down Delta goes. So looking forward to seeing your comments on the Nova. Yeah, I'm looking forward to working on this. I had an early DVR 16-inch DVR years ago. I used it on the road with the woodworking shows, if you might remember. The gray one. And it was a fantastic lathe. And then got into selling, of course, the Colts for a while. And so it went to the barn, and eventually it moved along. And now we're back on a Nova. Funny how the things go round and round in the world. I'm just going to get everything snugged up here. I'm not going to make you guys sit through everything. And then when I get these bolts snugged up, I'm going to run in because my hands are nasty, dirty. And I'm going to run in the house because I don't have a sink out here real quick. And I'm going to wash the grease off my hands. And then we're going to put the banjo on and the tailstock and all that stuff. But I don't want to touch those nice white pieces with these greasy hands now that I've got going on down here. You don't at least have a ratchet and an Allen socket? I don't turn a wrench anymore, Michael. I don't have a garage. I got 5 buildings, but none of them will house a car. So I just take it up the street and tell them to call me when it's ready. You know? Now, if I was assembling things on a regular basis, then it would be different. Good thing I don't have to put anything like this together at AAW or SWAT, right, Michael? Be in trouble. I'd need 2 days to get set up. All right, now to the legs again real quick. Got to stretch the knees out for a second and get a sip of soda. Snug these guys back up. And then we'll go wash our hands. And play with stuff up top. But I do have a ratchet, Michael, by the way. It's not an Allen drive this big. I built houses, not machines. And I didn't do metal buildings. I've assembled one metal building in my life. I was a stick frame guy. All right, this end. Snug it all back up. So I just sold an old, I had a Delta 1642 steel, bent steel lathe that I had in Colorado, Mike, and just sold that off a couple of weeks ago. And I've still got a 1642 here. And then up at the other shop up north, there's a Nova 3000 and a jet, a small jet, I can't remember what it is, a couple of minis. So I've pared down a lot. And I'm taking one of the mini Novas out to. Oh, Chuck, you're not late. This is early. I just saw Chuck Davis. I saw your thing. This is today. Tomorrow is Spiracraft Live. If you're still here, this is just me assembling the nebula. All right, so sweet deal. Now I'm gonna go run and wash these hands, and I will be back. Hey Jake, yes, it's coming along. I'm gonna go wash my hands, and I will be back in just a few minutes. I just got to run in the house and do this because I don't want to be touching this nice. And I'm also going to adjust the camera up. So let me do that before I walk away, actually. Let me make an adjustment here in the control room. Let's see, actually, let me change camera. There we go. And I'm going to change. Let's change a couple of things here before I run in. I don't have controllers out there. God help me if I had controllers that actually would move the cameras out by the lathe. And we'll make our overlay. Tomorrow I'm going to work on this controller. And there we go. Cool beans. All right, so I'm going to run wash my hands, all this grease, and Facebook users, I don't have any comments showing on Facebook chat. Interesting. Not sure why. Because I'm seeing them here from Facebook, from like Lorianne and Chuck and Mark. So anyway, I'll be right back. Let me go wash my hands before I touch all the white stuff. And we're back. All right. We got audio. Hands are clean. Still need to raise that camera up just a fuzz, don't I? So that we can... Let's see if I can't get this out of my way a little bit more. I'll get that later. Pull this back just a little bit more. Slides nice on those feet. Let me get it back here where it belongs, more or less, like that. And let's adjust that camera just a little more. Let's see here. Come on, camera. We want to adjust this one up a little higher because the window is definitely too far down. It's not the right one. Do a little of that, and whoop, wrong direction, guys. The adjustment screen is kind of in the way of seeing what I'm doing. Let's get it right about there and see how that looks. Okay. And I'm just making some adjustments here. You can see the things you don't normally get to see back there behind. Pull in a little tighter on things. All right, good deal. Yeah, so that works. You get to see my sweaty head. Still looks a little crooked in the picture, doesn't it? See what that way does. That's probably closer. I pulled it toward me. Yeah, that's right. All right, good deal. Let's see. Anyone ask away? Absolutely, Rich. As for the NOVA Nebula badging, don't have anything, but marketing is going to see what they can do. Cool beans. So now, Michael says, now the comments are showing on FB Strange. Yeah, it's weird sometimes how this stuff works. Like last week, the description didn't change at all. God only knows. What else? Rich was going to ask questions, answer questions. Mike's not seeing any either, it appears. Yeah, I like the integral lock handle on the headstock. No more having to the knockout bar slip and end up with smashed fingers. Right. All right, let's see what all we got going on here. Let's bring the other pieces and parts into play just for a visual. It's great having Rich here. Rich, I do appreciate it. This is a very nice looking banjo. Get the bar the other way, maybe. May have to adjust that. There we go. All right. pardon my head in front. Get back over here. There we go. Sweet. Nothing like a nice smooth quill. And we don't really need an overlay on the end, do we? Let's see if it'll help you guys any. Just taking a look at things. If it doesn't get in the way. Kind of cuts off the headstock though, doesn't it? At the moment. We'll leave that off. Go away. Thank you very much. All right. A tool post. Needs a tool rest. Conversion cable link. Make a conversion cable. I do not recommend cutting the end and swapping. So Rich, here's a question for you. I have a box over here, a transformer inverter that is 110, 220. So what end is on this? That's a regular 110 on the end of there. So what you're recommending, Rich, is to make a conversion cable that goes from a 110 plug to a 220 plug and not changing the cord on the end. Correct? Okay. You send me the link and send it to me in Messenger on how to do that, and we'll put it on with the lathe. Correct. That makes sense to make a conversion cable and just switching it over instead of cutting the end off the cord. It makes perfectly good sense. So tool post comes with a stop collar on it. That's pretty cool. My overhead camera is completely jacked around, but let me change that. I'm going to put you guys on the end, and so you don't have to see me climb up, because we can work with that. I'm going to put you on here. I got to get up on a little step ladder because the controller won't completely invert the camera. So there we go. Just takes a sec. One of these days the camera will be on a track. One of these days. And I'm going to go adjust that camera real quick now. Jamie Page, yes sir, I have a new lathe. In the studio, we're set to jet with the new NOVA Nebula. Let's zoom this guy on down in here just a little bit. And I'll probably just slide the headstock over to get that in place. So we're just kind of putting the pieces and parts on here now. Let's see how that looks. There we go. That's a little bit more in the frame. Cool beans. Now, like I said, I have not read directions 1 on this thing yet. On how it any of the stuff works. I will be reading tonight, and tomorrow morning I'll be learning how to work with it all. But one of the things I really like, remote controller, not total remote. There was a time back in the early day, and I don't know, I think this, Rich, might have been before your time. Nova had a wristwatch controller, like a Dick Tracy controller. And I was at AEW for Nova in Tampa, and I would stand out in the aisle, and I had a big platter on the DVR, and I'd stand out on the aisle with the watch, and as people would walk up, not all the way to the lathe, and I would turn it on and turn it off with the watch, just make it go nice and slow. Yeah, DVR 2024 is still going strong. 2024 is a great machine too. But I love having a magnetic remote that you put wherever you want to. For wherever you're working, it's right there. That is one of the best things going. It's on stretchy coiled cord. I'm not even going to begin to get into the controls on this. I'm going to study that tomorrow. This evening, well, what time is it? 3 o'clock. I got to go back in the office. So I'll study these controls in the morning and learn how all this works. There should be a hand wheel here. And there is. There's that carboline that we all know and love. I knew it had to be somewhere, Rich. Let me go find my paper towels before I go any further. And we'll clean that guy up a little bit. They're probably on the back side of this, knowing my luck today. Where did I put them? Pardon me for walking in front of the camera in the back of my head. We'll come around this end. So yeah, Rich, that's a great suggestion about making the cord. I'll go down to hardware store. We have one. I live in a one horse town. I got one hardware store, one grocery store, and if I want to get anything, I have to go 30 miles to the next town where I get anything, which gives me a Lowe's. Which is not a lot to get excited about some days. But I will make up the cord because, like I said, I've got 220 sitting here. I've actually got a 220 outlet over there. I just haven't hooked it up on the other end. And let's see. They may not have supplied that Allen wrench, and that's okay. We've got a spur drive and a live center there. Alignment bar, that wrench. All right, let me look over here. There's our hand wheel. And I'll learn how to program this guy and everything else. And let's see. You still have the watch controller. That's cool. Yeah, I had one, from Nova for the show, and then I tried to get one for years when I had the DVR, and they discontinued it before I ever got a chance to get one. It would be fun just to have it as a keepsake, if for lack of anything else. I will have to get a longer Allen wrench for this, because this isn't going to reach. So I'll put that on my list. 3/16. I know I don't have a handled, well, I do have a handled version, but I don't think I have it handy. I don't want to take up too much time, just me rooting around looking for tools. I know I have one. I have no idea where it is. Be one of those things where it'll be faster to buy another one. So I will make myself a note to tighten up the hand wheel. We also came with a faceplate. We'll tighten up tool post, tool rest. We've got mystery something in here in the, there we go. Little tool storage for your live center and your spur drive in the headstock or tailstock, excuse me. There. In the overhead, let me see if we pop you in the overhead here. I don't have a back camera set up yet. Overhead is 5. Oop. Put this into view here. There we go. So I will learn about the swivel lock for the head. We got our emergency shut off. We've got our pre-program settings. F1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got on, off, menu. I'm not going to plug it in right now. So I'm going to read the manual. Actually, believe it or not, I'll read the manual on it. Power control is just over here off to the side. Power cord is here, of course. So, all intent and purpose, we are assembled. That is a cool thing. Party, yeah. So we are put together, physically assembled. I'm not going to try and sit here and tell you functionality, etc., because I haven't studied the manual yet. Tomorrow, I will be here doing Spiracraft Live, again, starting at 1 o'clock. Hey, look, free dating, private chat girls, great. And Michael, I didn't go in and work on getting you set up to go chop those things out of there. Yeah, my friends are back. We'll go take, luckily, actually, YouTube takes that out. At least they did before, after the fact. But I really appreciate the extra private dating chat girls there. That's nice of you to come in here. Not. And Michael, I will work on getting you set up to where it sticks that you are moderator and can pop them back out of there. So yeah, I will learn this guy function tomorrow before we start off. And like I say, I believe I'm going to go ahead and I've got a big 18-inch, couple of big 18-inch blanks out there, and we're going to chuck one up on here and put this guy through some paces to turn in a 60-pound piece of wood and see how we do. I hope that you enjoyed watching me put nuts and bolts together, but I'm glad that you came here to see the new, actually, you know what, Rich, just for fun, for the moment, I could do this, right? I'll just turn it all the way around. There we go. Perfect. That's how you display it, Rich. We just turn the headstock around. And I can actually, anytime I want to explain it, I can do that. That's kind of cool. Turn it around and go the other way. Or I could turn left-handed and all that good stuff. So anyway, tomorrow, Spiracraft Live, 1 o'clock. We will be actually working on this guy. We'll be making chips, and I'll have the studio back together. My table will be back out front. The cart will be out of here. The mat will be underneath. All that good stuff. I am really excited. This is a sweet lathe. It's really built nice. Everything fits well. You just have to have the legs a little bit looser than I did when I was putting the crossbar in. But, you know, we figured that out as we go. Yeah, it is an awesome looking lathe. And like I said, I'm excited to get on this thing. So tomorrow we're going to make it work. We'll use all 2.5 horsepower and have fun with it. And again, this is the new staple for Spiracraft Live. This is what's going to stay out here in the film studio for the future. So we'll get intimate with it. We'll learn all the fun stuff that we can do with it and pre-program it and have a great time. Hit me up on FB if you have any questions. I'll answer them for you. Sure thing. JPN says I had a 2024 with the watch. Oh, you jumped over to the watch one on the Fritz. Loved the lathe, but it burned up in a fire. Oh, that sucks. I'd hate to lose a lathe in a fire. I'd hate to lose anything in a fire at all. But okay, gang, thanks again. Like I say, I hope you enjoyed it. This is, of course, the NOVA Nebula Lathe, and you can find them on Spiracraft. And if you have any questions about it, as I learn how it actually works, be more than willing to answer any questions on it. I'll be sped up tomorrow. I won't know if I'll say I'll be up to speed, but I'll be sped up on how to run it. And shortly thereafter, I will be up to speed. So I will see you all tomorrow. And again, appreciate you dropping in. I had fun putting this guy together. Thanks for sharing some time with me out here in the studio on a Wednesday afternoon. And we'll see you tomorrow. I don't have my fancy sign off in. Those controls or those inputs are off right now. So I will just say, hey, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to walk in the control room and shut things down. All right. Thanks, folks.